YouTube friends. Nice to be here with you. I wanted to say nice to see you. It would be nice to see you, but alas, here we are. Thank you for joining again or for the first time. A quick little note before we begin that I'm offering these classes on a donation basis, as all of you probably already know. All of the information on how to transfer money from Europe or the US is underneath the video in the video description. Click show more. Apparently that's more complicated than I thought it might be. But anyway, I'm sure you'll find it if you care to. So without further ado, I say we just jump right in today. We're going to start seated, any comfortable seat that works for you. Cross legs is one option, any other option is available. And as always, if you have a prop to sit up on, my blocks are far away from me now, but feel free to use a block, a book, a cushion, a rolled up blanket, whatever you might have lying around. And that just helps when you elevate the pelvis a bit from the floor. The knees can sink a little lower with gravity, the hip flexors can soften. Good. So we found ourselves in a comfortable seat. Let the eyes begin to close. And I like to think of these first few minutes of the practice as this gentle transition, coming from whatever you're coming from, and really carving out this hour, or roughly hour, for yourself. So what it means to me is this next hour is an opportunity to allow myself to let go of any of the things that I'm generally busying myself with. They don't just have to be negatives, but really anything that occupies the mind, the body, to really try to give yourself this clean slate from which you can move forward into the rest of your day. And a helpful tool for allowing the mind to clear is to just simply follow your breath. You can even sort of say to yourself, inhaling and exhaling, or some simple pattern to follow, indicating as the breath comes in and as the breath leaves the body. As soon as you notice that your thoughts are elsewhere, which will very likely happen at some point, just gently bring yourself back. So this is part of the practice, bringing your mind back to stillness or relative stillness. Give yourself as much time as you need here to really feel that sense of arriving, of softening, whatever it feels like for you, but hopefully feeling some sort of transition from whatever came before this. As you're following your breath, maybe you take a little more air into the nose. Fill the lungs a little further. And take just as much time to let all of that air leave the body. Totally emptying, starting fresh with your next inhale. With your next inhale, very gently fluttering the eyes open, arms reaching overhead. Really reaching through the fingertips, sitting up nice and tall. As you exhale, right fingertips find the floor. Left fingertips arc up and over, coming to the side. So we feel, of course, a lot of space now on the left side of the body, but see if you can find a little puff of air in the right rib cage as well. Both sides lengthening. Inhale, coming through center, two arms high. Use the exhale to fold to the second side. Once again, each side, moving with every breath. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, tipping over. Inhaling, arms high. Exhale, tipping over. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, hands meet in front of the heart. Thumbs resting on the breastbone. Take a full breath cycle here. See if you can find that sense of relaxation in the mind already. And with your next exhale, coming forward onto hands and knees, however you'd like to get there. Arriving in your tabletop position, looking down just between the tips of your thumbs. So this encourages the back of the neck to stay nice and long. Press into the hands. Press actively into the tops of the feet. So you feel the whole front of the body engage here. Even in this simple posture, find this stable stance. Keeping this pressure downward with hands and feet. Inhale, let the head and tail float up to the sky for a cow pose. Strong connection with the ground. Exhale, round the back. Look toward your belly button. Inhale, floating the heart forward. Eyes might crawl up the wall in front of you. Exhale, eyes crawl back down and curl in on yourself. Twice more each direction. Inhaling and exhaling, really freeing the spine. Next inhale, coming to a neutral spine. Send your gaze again between your thumbs. Send the right leg back behind you. And float that right leg until it's more or less parallel to the ground. Spin your big toe to point directly to the floor. You can keep two hands on the mat or lift the left hand, bring it to your low abdomen. Underneath your hand, feel the low abs engage. Pressing your right heel away from you. Option to stay here or float that left arm forward. Deep breath in. Full breath out. One more breath in, lengthening fingertip and heel as far from each other as you can. And let that right knee come to the floor. Leave the left arm long. Look into your fingertips. Circle the left arm up to the sky. Look up, up, up. Exhale, thread the left arm beneath the right. Bringing the shoulder, maybe the side of the face, the ear, the cheek to the floor. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Option to stay here or float the right arm to the sky. And from here you can stay with an extended arm or find a half bind. Hinge your right elbow and maybe you even reach around for your fingertips to reach your left upper thigh. Peeling your right shoulder blade open on the back. Inhale, right arm reaches high. Exhale, hand finds the floor. Coming back to hands and knees. Two hands, two knees on the mat. Send your left leg back behind you and float it up away from the mat. So for now we have even weight on two hands. Feel your abdominals engage, and if and when you're ready, you can float the right hand to meet your lower abdominals. Feel the whole belly zip up underneath the hand, and from here find this length. Right fingers reach forward, left heel reaches backward. Staying here for a breath cycle. Next, exhale, softly lower the left knee, keep the right arm extended, and then peel that shoulder open as the arm reaches to the sky, looking to the fingertips. Exhale, thread the needle. Right arm under left. Arriving, make sure that your hips aren't shifting too far to one side, that you have roughly even weight on both feet. And from here, option to float the left fingers high. Keep pressing into the back of that right hand on the floor. And maybe it's a half bind. Active breath, filling the lungs and emptying the lungs. Inhale, left fingers reach up to the sky. Coming down, find yourself on hands and knees. We'll walk the hands forward just a bit so they're out in front of your shoulders. Coming onto tented fingertips, cupping the hands. Send the tailbone up and back as the heart floats down. You can either bring your forehead to the mat, or for a little more of an intense back bend, shift your chin to the floor. Deep breath in your puppy dog pose, and a full breath out. Gently pressing the palms of the hands into the floor. Walk your hands back underneath the shoulders, toes tuck. Once again, send the tailbone up to the sky. Imagine somebody tied a string around your tailbone and they pull it up to to the ceiling. So we sort of snake through the spine as you arrive in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog, really heavy head. Spreading the toes really wide, wake up the feet. And the same with the fingers, spreading them nice and wide. Deep breath in. Emptying the lungs, the belly. Inhale, both heels lift, coming high onto the balls of your feet. And we'll pedal through the feet, bending one knee, opposite heel finds the mat. And switching sides, inhaling, exhaling. So as your feet are active, you're paying attention to the feet, the muscles, the tendons, the joints, everything sort of activating, waking up. Spend a little moment shifting your awareness to your hands. Check that your whole hand is on the floor. There's a tendency sometimes for the pad underneath the first finger to peel away from the mat. This puts a lot of pressure on the wrists. So really push your whole hand, especially that first knuckle of your first finger, into the floor. Gradually, the feet start to walk toward the hands. Take your time to find yourself in Uttanasana, forward fold at the top of your mat. I just spit on my mat. I hope you didn't see it, but now I announced it, so everybody knows. Great. Head is hanging. Soften the bend in the knees. And if you want, you can hang on to each elbow with opposite hand, encouraging this ragdoll, completely hanging over the legs. Any movement that comes naturally here, you can explore. And when you're ready, release the hands to the floor. Soft knees begin to roll up through the spine. Nice and slow. We come to this vertical spine, head stacking over the heart stacking over the pelvis. Imagine little weights attached to each fingernail, drawing your fingers gently down toward the floor, like you apply 10% more gravity to your fingertips. Deep breath in, 2 arms are reaching high overhead. As you exhale, bending just the right elbow, hand maybe comes between the shoulder blades, left hand finds that elbow and very gently draws the elbow behind the head. So we're trying not to let this activate the whole body. It's not a side bend, but really opening the space under the arm and the upper arm muscles. So just the elbow reaching behind the head. You can stay here. This might already feel quite intense for the shoulder. Or release that left arm and find a grip behind the back. It might be your fingertips clasping. If you don't quite reach the fingers, you can hang on to the fabric of your top. But try to really find a grip on something. Even weight on 2 feet. And gently release the fingers. 2 arms reaching overhead. Coming to the second side, left elbow bends. Right hand finds the elbow. And again, trying to keep hips level, ribs level. Draw that elbow gently behind the head. Option to stay here or to find that clasp behind the back. Keeping heart stacking over pelvis and head stacking over heart. Deep breath in and out. Releasing fingertips. 2 arms overhead. Exhale, diving forward. We move through a series of sun salutations. Head is nice and heavy. Inhale, coming to a long, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release, stepping 1 foot at a time into a plank pose. Toes spread, fingers spread, widening your base. Deep breath in. As you exhale, knees lower to the mat. Nice and slow, chest lowers. Taking your time, elbows sweep past the ribs. Inhale, scoop the belly. Scoop the heart forward, baby bhujangasana, cobra pose. And release, toes tuck, hips lift up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. We're in our down dog for 2 breaths. Tailbone being drawn up to the ceiling. Exhale, knees bend, look forward. Stepping your feet or hop if you're ready to meet the hands in a forward fold. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, arms high, coming all the way to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. We'll take the same exact flow twice more. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, diving forward. So you can really tune in to your breath. Moving at your own pace. If it's different than mine, that's fine. Arriving in plank, your choice, knees and chest or the whole body lowers in one piece. Inhale, scooping hard, Bhujangasana. Releasing, toes tucking. Hips float as the head gets heavy. One breath this time here. Soften the knees, look forward, step or hop your feet to reach the hands. And release, heavy head. Inhale, arms float high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Last time, moving every action with a full breath, in or out. This time you can move through your vinyasa of choice, knees and chest, whole body lowers, or maybe it's a chaturanga dandasana, scooping the heart forward to upward facing dog. We arrive in down dog. In through the nose, out through the nose, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop the feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, arms are high. Exhale, release. Continuing on, toes are spreading, arms reach high. Diving heart forward. Inhale, long flat back, kneecaps are lifting up toward the thighs. Exhale, release. Taking a big step back with the right foot, we find a low lunge. Inhale here, press into 10 fingers. As you exhale, lower the back knee to the floor. Back toes pointing, press into your back foot. This back foot will become especially important in a moment, but already find that connection with the floor. As the arms reach high, we're in a knee down crescent, really opening this right hip flexor by letting your pelvis get super heavy. That same 10% crank up of gravity, of weight, feel that now in the pelvis. Maybe let the heart float. Deep breath in. As you exhale, hands find each other in front of the heart, prayer pose. Pressing your thumbs into the sternum, allow this pressure backward to shift your hips backwards. So you're standing up on your back foot. Pressing extra hard into that back foot. Swivel your left heel out in front of you until your left leg straightens, and flex those left toes. So it's a bit of a balancing act here. Inhale through the nose. Now send the sternum, the breastbone, forward. Keeping your back long. You might only move a centimeter here. You might be laying flat over your left leg, or anywhere in between. Deep breath in, flexing the left toes. Really push into your back foot for balance. Option to stay here. You can bring your fingertips to the floor or float the arms open to the shape of a T. Wherever you are, full breath in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands find the floor, walking yourself forward, low lunge. Back toes tucked, back leg long. We'll take the hands for a walk toward the right side. Swivel that right heel down to the floor, and the right toes peel up to the sky. We're gonna sink down. This left heel might leave the mat, that's fine. Really let the pelvis get heavy. Really spiral that right knee and the right big toe to point up to the ceiling. If it's available, you can walk your fingers a little further out in front of you and let the pelvis melt down. So you should feel a nice big stretch along the right inner thigh, across the whole pelvic floor. Take the hands for a walk back to the front of your mat, swiveling back to your low lunge, stepping through a plank pose. Moving through your vinyasa variation, or meeting directly in our downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Remember that pressure downward in the first knuckle of your pointer finger. Whole palm is in contact with the mat. Inhale, the right leg floats up to the sky. Exhale, step it forward, low lunge. Keep that back leg long. Imagine magnets on your inner thighs squeezing inward, pelvic floor is engaged. Fingertips reach as if you could touch your back heel. Shooting energy out through your fingertips and forward and up through your head. Hands find the floor, stepping forward, forward fold. Give the head a little shake. And soft knees all the way up to stand, arms high, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, long flat back. And release, left foot steps far back. Finding that low lunge. Melt your back knee to the floor, point the back toes, and as soon as you can, find that deep connection between the left foot and the mat, pressing down to rise up. Now it's the left hip flexor that's lengthening as the pelvis melts forward and down. If it's available and comfortable for the neck, you can start to lift the gaze. Exhale, hands meet in front of the heart. Use the thumbs to direct the heart backward. So once again, heart stacks over pelvis, head over heart. Flex the right foot. Right leg is nice and long. Now press into your left foot. Really press down as the heart shifts forward. Long spine for as long as you can. Opening that right hamstring. The deeper the flexion of your foot, the more length you'll be getting in the hamstring. Option to use your fingers for support or to float the arms open to a T. Exhale, hands find the floor, crawling out into your low lunge, back leg lengthens, and the hands continue that little journey to the left side. Left heel finds the floor, left toes point to the sky, and then sinking down with the pelvis. If it's available, you can walk the fingers out in front of you. And then walking the hands to the right foot, arriving in a low lunge. Stepping, moving through your vinyasa variation. Meeting in down dog. Inhale, left leg floats to the sky. Exhale, it steps forward, low lunge. Fingertips shoot back as the crown of the head shoots forward. Hands find the mat, step the right foot to meet the left, let the head go. Inhaling, arms high. Exhale, hands to the heart. Fingertips continue down to Tadasana, mountain pose. Standing nice and tall, deep breath in. Full breath out. On your next exhale, sitting low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Arms are up by the ears. Imagine a little ball between your hands. So the arms are quite narrow, shoulders soft. Sitting even lower, hands meet in front of the heart. Deep breath in, arms lift, staying low in your chair. Exhale, hands to the heart. Last time, arms lift high. Exhale, hands to the heart. This time as your arms lift, come to stand. Bending the right elbow. And reach the left arm behind the back. Finding that grip behind the back. Again, if you don't reach fingertips, no problem. Just hang on to whatever you can reach. Pouring weight into your left foot. Right knee hugs in toward the chest. Standing nice and tall. As you exhale, bend the standing leg. Take a big step back with that right foot. We're in a high lunge, keeping this grip with the fingers. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Spiral your back heel to the floor. Warrior two legs. Belly is facing the side wall or the side of the room. Just like a warrior two. And if it's available for the neck, you can look out over your left bent knee, out in the distance. Keeping this grip with the hands, we're going to lean forward as if you're coming to a side angle. Tipping the body toward that bent left leg, keeping the right shoulder opening, and back to stand. Now release the fingers, arms to a T, give the shoulders a few soft circles. Finding Virabhadrasana 2, warrior two pose. Gazing out in the distance. Left palm flips up to the sky. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Deep breath in, warrior two. Tipping forward, Utthita Parshvakonasana. Extended side angle pose. You can bring your left elbow to your left thigh. If you'd like, you can bring the hand down to a block or the mat. Long line from right heel to right fingertips. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Look down. Hands come down, finding yourself in a low lunge. Stepping to plank and either moving through your vinyasa or directly to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Full breaths as you arrive in down dog. And when you're ready, knees bend, looking forward, step or hop the feet to the hands. Inhale, long flat back. Exhale, release. We'll come to stand, moving through Utkatasana, chair pose. So first bend the knees nice and deep, scoop the arms high. And coming all the way to stand, reaching fingertips high overhead. Left elbow bends, right arm swings behind the back, finding your grip. Standing nice and tall. Pouring your weight onto the right foot. Float the left knee into the chest. So first really establish your balance on that standing leg. Hips are level. Now bending standing leg, nice and controlled. Press that left foot behind you. Press it back, back, back until it finds the floor in your crescent lunge. Deep breath in and out. Inhale, next exhale, spiral your back heel to the floor. Keep that right knee opening over the third toe. Let's spiraling open as you find this warrior two position with your lower body. Maybe shift the gaze out over the right shoulder. Feet are really actively pressing down. Exhale, tipping forward so the elbows are drawing away from each other. Inhaling back to stand, release the fingers, arms float open, any soft actions you need to reintegrate the arms on the back. Let me find warrior two. Inhale, right palm flips high, reverse the warrior. Warrior two pose, tipping forward to extended side angle. Keep breathing actively. And look down, hands come down, moving either through your vinyasa or directly to down dog. As you're ready, knees bend, look forward, walk the feet all the way to the front of the mat and as wide as the mat. So the feet step to the outer edges of the mat, toes point slightly outward on an angle, sitting the hips down between the heels, coming to Malasana, a squat. Hands can meet in front of the heart, thumbs plugging into the sternum. Elbows helping the knees open up. Heavy pelvis, weight, gravity drawing you down toward the floor. Gently let the hands find the mat. Hips lift, swivel the feet back together, arriving in your forward fold. Inhale all the way to stand. Exhaling hands to the heart. Inhale, arms float high. Diving forward, exhale. Long flat back. And stepping or floating either through your vinyasa or directly to down dog. Hasta Bandha, hand lock, active, first fingers pressing down. Inhale, right leg floats to the sky. Exhale, step it forward between the hands, pouring weight into the back foot, high crescent lunge. Deep bend in the front knee, fingertips reach away from each other, left fingers forward, right fingers back, we come to a twist. Deep breath in, soft shoulders. Inhale through the nose. Exhaling, melt the pelvis. Right hand finds the back thigh, and we take a reverse warrior in a twist. Left arm reaches to the sky. Inhale, coming back to a T. Two arms high, shoulders square, high crescent. Spiral the back heel, we're in warrior two. Reverse the warrior. Inhale, warrior two. high crescent lunge. Once again, twisting, exhale. Reverse the warrior. Coming back to a T, arms are high, warrior two, and reverse. Back to a T, arms are high, this time stay square, hips square, shoulders, diving the belly forward, bowing forward, arms reach back. Fingertips find the floor, hands find the floor, send your right leg up and back, one-legged down dog. Deep breath in. This time let the right hip stack on top of the left. That leg can stay straight or maybe it bends. Option to stay here or keep letting that right foot fall into the space behind you until eventually it finds the floor. Heart lift, belly lift, throat opens. Exhale, look down to the left hand. One leg down dog. Right knee comes forward toward the nose and lands behind the right wrist. Shin bone coming down to the floor. Scoot your left leg back behind you, coming up onto fingertips in a half pigeon pose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, melt the pelvis down. We're gonna stay upright with the torso today. If you want, if you have the space, you can even walk the fingers back a little bit, encouraging a gentle back bend, heart opener. If you're happy here, feel free to stay here. If you'd like to come a bit further, pouring weight into your right hand, back knee bends, left arm circles up and back to find that back foot. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. If you have the back foot, let it go. Hands find the floor, back toes tuck. Stepping right away to a plank pose, moving through your vinyasa or directly to down dog. Of course, a child's pose to rest is always an option. And as you're ready, a big inhale floats the left leg to the sky. Exhale, steps it forward, arms high for a high crescent lunge. Melt the pelvis down. Deep breath in. Exhale to twist. Draw the fingertips away from each other. Deep breath in here. Exhale, left hand finds your back leg. Right arm floating up to the sky. Inhale back to a T with the arms, coming through your high crescent lunge. Exhale, finding warrior two. Left palm flips high, reverse the warrior. And once more, each direction, arms high. Exhale to twist. Backhand finds the back leg, reverse the warrior. Keep that bend in the front knee, warrior, high crescent. Exhale, heel down, warrior two. Flip the left palm, reverse. Back to warrior two. Arms reach high, high crescent. This time, as you exhale, bowing forward, fingertips reach back, low and long. Hands find the mat. Press into hands as the left leg lifts up and back. Stacking, left hip on top of right hip. Option to stay here to bend that leg, or maybe to continue over to flip the dog. Left foot gently finds the floor behind you. Look down, square hips, square shoulders, left leg lifts. Knee comes into nose and lands behind the left wrist. Swivel that right leg back behind you. And coming on to these tented fingertips, cupped hands. In through the nose and out through the nose. If you took a further variation on the first side, maybe a little chest opener or a bind of the back foot, take your time to explore these options. It might feel a little bit different from one side to the next, most likely it will. So just check that you're not moving into unsafe territory with your own body. moving really consciously through every variation. And gently release, finding a plank pose, moving through a vinyasa, or directly to downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths. Once you get to down dog, no rush if you're not there yet. Full breaths. The same way that we began the practice, allow these 3 breaths to be a chance of clearing out, of letting go of whatever came before this. The information is stored in your body, so just let it pass from the mind. Heels lift, knees bend, step or hop the feet to the hands, and then bring the feet once again as wide as the mat. Toes face slightly outward on angles, and sit the hips down between the heels. If your heels fly off the floor here, no worries, that's totally fine. Just as long as you make sure your knees are opening over your middle toe. If you do have a block or a book handy, you can just place it underneath the sacrum and just kind of use it as a prop to sit on. You have the option of staying here. If you want to come a little further, we'll move toward a bind. Right fingertips come out to the outside of the foot. Left arm floats to the sky. So this might be where you stay. Maybe you reach that left arm around for a half bind, or perhaps coming to a full bind. Both knees are staying open, open, open. Hips are opening, pelvic floor is dropping, releasing toward the floor. And gently release. We come back through center. On our way to the second side, left arm extends. First, the right arm lifts. So we invite this space, this gentle twist in the torso, and then moving sequentially so that you don't go past your edge, your limit. Moving slowly, being aware of each conscious decision you're making. And then coming back, reverse through center. Hands find the floor, hips to the sky, swivel the feet back together. And right away we'll step back to a downward facing dog. Deep breath in, right leg floats to the sky. Exhale, step it forward, low lunge. Turn the face the other way. Back heel spirals down to the floor. Right hand steps to the inside of the right leg. We'll begin to straighten that right leg, coming to a Utthita Trikonasana. Extended triangle. You can just as well bring the hand to the shin bone. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Exhale, look down. Hands come to the inside of the right foot. Spiral the right toes to face the same direction as the left toes. We're in our wide leg forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Let the head hang. The legs are super active here. Even if the knees have a soft bend, think about pulling up away from the floor through the kneecaps, lengthening the backs of the legs, hamstrings long, head is heavy. You can introduce any little movements here that feel good. The hands take a walk toward the left foot. Keep the hips facing the direction they're facing. Left toes spin out slightly. Right toes point up to the sky. We come back to this ninja position that we had earlier in the practice. Again, the left heel does not have to be flush with the floor. Feel free to stay here with 2 hands on the floor, or we come toward a bind. Left hand steps out, very similar to where we just were in the squat position. Right arm up to the sky. Reaching around first for your half bind. Drop the weight of the pelvic floor. Maybe you come to that full bind. Right toes are pointing directly up to the sky. So the Achilles tendon is lengthening, the hamstrings. And gently release the hands to the floor. Take a walk over that left leg. We come to a low lunge. So you're facing the back of your mat now, if we've done everything correctly. Back heel finds the floor. Left hand steps to the inside of the left leg, peeling the heart open for your Utthita Trikonasana, your extended triangle, hand on the shin bone, or on the mat, or on a prop. See if you can spiral your gaze to the sky. If you're choosing to do so, try to keep the chin tucked toward the chest. so the back of the neck stays long. Exhale, look down, hands to the inside of the left foot, pivot the left toes. We're in our wide leg forward fold. This time, if you'd like, you can flip the hands so the fingers face back and walk the hands a little further back between the legs. Otherwise, the hands are beneath the shoulders. Wherever you are, encourage any soft swaying, any action that helps you arrive, settle in, find your full expression of this pose. Take your hands for a walk toward the right foot. Spin those toes out slightly, creating a little bit of space for the hips to come down. Left toes point to the sky, so really active flexion of the left foot. Again, this might be where you stay. If you'd like to come further, the right fingers reach out, come onto those tented fingertips, left arm to the sky. This is step one. You may stay here. Finding first the half bind, and then maybe the full bind. Gently release any bind that you have. Swivel around to your little lunge. Either moving through one final vinyasa or coming directly to down dog. As you arrive in down dog, very gently melt the knees to the floor. Down dog turns into a balasana, child's pose. A very well-deserved child's pose. Feel free to keep your arms where they are. You might want to bring the palms together and rest the prayer pose between the shoulder blades. If that feels too much for the shoulders, maybe you lengthen the arms down along either side of you. So whatever option you choose, commit to it and settle in, inviting a sense of surrender in the physical body, in your muscular body. You're just a bag of bones. I couldn't resist saying that. And when you're ready, slowly rolling up through the spine. Come to sit, bring the knees together if they're wide. And just seated for a moment. You can close the eyes. And gently sit the hips down to one side. Swing the legs in front of you in Dandasana. Sitting up nice and tall in the sits bones. And once again, we'll become a bag of bones. So we're going to take a forward fold, but a really lazy one. So you just let yourself walk your hands forward. Whenever you feel you've reached your limit, stay there. And then just let everything hang over. So this might be easier said than done. Take any padding you need. Maybe you want to place something underneath your knees. Maybe you want to sit up on a block or a book. To make this as comfortable for yourself as you can, with the objective really being this sort of ragdoll sensation, that you're just releasing everything. So there's no correct position here. As long as you're safe, you're not causing pain. And really tapping into the breath, the depth of your breath, the rhythm, the temperature, whatever it is that you notice, just notice it. Really observe your breathing. And when you're ready, very gradually rolling up. We'll bring the soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Shift your pelvis quite close to your feet. We'll take the first two fingers, peace sign fingers, around the big toes. And then really use this grip to sit up nice and tall and draw the heart forward. So similar to the last position in that it's a forward fold, but you probably feel a lot more activation here. The muscles are working, at least somewhat. You have this strong grip on the feet. So it's the difference between a passive and an active stretch.
And gently release the feet, hug the knees in toward one another.
Scoot yourself forward so that there's space behind you on the mat.
And then roll down into that space. Landing on the back. The gaze is right up to the sky, so for the next few exercises, if possible, just listen to the sound of my voice and really keep your gaze steady looking up so that you don't crane your neck, which can potentially be uncomfortable for the cervical spine, the little bones that lead into the skull. Palms of the hands are facing down. Step your heels in a little closer to your sits bones, so the knees are a little more bent. And then slip the shoulder blades toward each other. So as you do this, the chest will puff up toward the sky a little bit. Press your whole back down into the floor so you couldn't see any light coming out from under your back. And from here, start to lift the pelvis. We're moving to a bridge pose. So again, try to keep your gaze up to the sky. If you do need to look at the video, maybe lower the hips first. Once you're in your bridge pose, it's best not to turn the head from side to side. The knees are parallel to each other. So they're not touching, but they're also not splaying out. They're two railroad tracks. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Next inhale, see if you can float the pubic bone a little bit higher toward the ceiling, maybe just a centimeter. And next exhale, rolling down through the spine until the sacrum lands on the floor. Stepping the feet out as wide as the mat, let the knees fall in to touch each other, and rest the hands on the low belly for a few breaths. The idea being here that the sacrum, the bottom of the spine, this big triangular bone structure, can widen. So as we come into that back bend, there's sometimes a feeling of pinching or squeezing, which we want to avoid anyway, but sometimes happens. And by allowing this reverse, you can relieve some tension in the low back. We'll come to our second round and final round for today of our back bend. So again, the feet step parallel, heels in close to the sits bones, palms facing down, slide the shoulder blades together, beginning exactly the same way, and then press the whole back into the floor, no light escaping. Begin to peel one vertebra at a time. You can either stay exactly where you were in the last round, or you can interlace the fingers, bring the shoulders even closer. If you'd like to come to your full wheel pose, here's your chance. Hands on either side of the ears. Press into hands and feet. Again, think about that first finger making contact with the floor, even in this upside down position. Hasta Bandha, hand lock. And as you're ready, sequencing out of the pose with the same care, if not more care, than you took to get in to the pose. Step the feet wide, the knees knock together. Hands rest wherever they feel most comfortable. Deep breath in, and a full breath out. Your next inhale, stay exactly where you are with the lower body. We're just gonna hug the arms across the chest. So one arm is crossed on top of the other. In our constructive rest position, we did quite a lot of work on both the hamstrings and the shoulders today. So thinking especially of these areas as you breathe, let them soften. And just to even things out, just switch which arm is on top for the next few breaths. So the back of the body, the space between right and left hip, the space between right and left shoulder are expanding. Gently release the crossed arms, hug your knees into the chest. Take a little rock and roll side to side or forward and back, whatever you feel you need here. Take a little scan of your own body, of this practice, of your energy level. If there's something that feels like it's missing from the practice for you today, take these next minutes. You can pause the video and explore any last actions. If you're ready to come to your Shavasana, your final resting posture, corpse pose, lengthen the legs out. You might want to throw on some socks, an eye pillow, anything you have nearby to make you that extra bit cozier. And take your time to arrive in Shavasana, in your corpse pose.
As always, ideally, give yourself a good handful of minutes here, if not longer. So the same way that the first few minutes of the practice are a crucial transition, this final posture as well is a crucial transition. A chance to solidify any intentions that you've worked through in this last hour. A chance to be gentle with yourself, continue this gentle approach as you move through your day. I'll leave you here. Thank you so much for joining. See you next week.